Hi everyone, it's Teal here from Fresh Clinics, and I have the incredible founders of SKIN, Amy and Emilee Hembrow, here with me today. They've just spoken on the Fresh Lounge to our nurses, and if you don't know them, these powerhouses are social media icons, marketing gurus, multiple business founders, and we're very grateful to have that business perspective from the industry. Hi girls, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
So welcome, in sync. How did you go? How did you find speaking to the nurses?
It went really well. I think it's just really natural for us because we're so passionate about skin and the business and we love the wellness industry. So it went really fast.
Yeah, I think we have done so many talks now, and our nurses were in the audience as well, and they're probably sick of hearing us talk about this stuff over and over.
Company culture.
It's important for us at Fresh too. Company culture is everything. I interviewed our founders about it. Tell me a little bit about SKIN, how it started, what was the intention?
I came to Amy with the idea. I think I just was going across a lot of different clinics and there wasn't one that had like the overall experience and those little details that I was looking for. So I kind of saw that there was a problem that we could fix, and I love the industry, like I mentioned. So Amy was just out of one business, so I kind of grabbed her before entering or starting another one and said, let's go open a clinic. And at first she said no. We are not nurses or doctors, but we are our client. And I think that's why we have done really well, because we always bring it back to the client and the client experience.
We basically created a place that we can go to every day.
That's the dream. I think that business aspect and the client experience side is something really, really valuable that I wanted to extract from you and give to our nurses. As practitioners, our community often gets stuck in that clinical side, and I feel it's really exciting that you guys get to experience everything from that like overlooking aspect. Do you have any advice on how you manage that from an outsider sort of perspective?
I really do think it's almost like our secret superpower that we are our consumer and we don't have all that knowledge that the nurses have, because I think you're right. You can get a bit complacent, but you can also struggle to put yourself in the consumer's shoes because you do see it from such a different perspective. You're doing the treatments every day. You might forget how safety and fear is such a big barrier for the consumer to enter the market. So then that can get lost in your communication and your marketing. So for us, it's really important that we also keep outsourcing information from our consumers, feedback from our customers. We do a lot of secret shopping and we have really crafted what we want to get out of them so that we can get the information that we need to improve and to better fine-tune our marketing messaging and all that sort of stuff.
And I think for clients, there are so many clinics now that it is more than a treatment. It's an experience. It's taking time from your busy schedule, from your day, and going somewhere. So we try to make, whether it's a collagen water, whether it's a really nice conversation with our friendly clinic coordinators, every little detail, something nice to add to that experience.
You said something really exciting that I don't know if our nurses will even know what it is. Secret shopping. Tell me about that. That's exciting.
So we will often send people into the clinic, people that we actually don't know, but it might be like a friend of a clinic manager or their mother. And we'll kind of craft questions and things for them to keep an eye out on and then give us feedback. And it's been so helpful for our business. They will be booked an appointment. We'll often do the same person at both clinics with different practitioners. And it could be the most minute detail that really matters to them. And when you hear that, it's like, okay, let's put something in place where we can rectify this or make it a smoother process. And it might be that we had really busy peak periods. And for us, we're a really bespoke, tailored clinic, and 5-star service is important to us. So now, based on that feedback, we've actually implemented having 2 clinic coordinators on every peak period so that the client gets enough attention.
That's incredible. That's a really good tip. I hope that all the nurses at home are taking notes. That's something I've never actually heard anyone say. What else do you think you have from a business perspective that you do regularly that a nurse could add in or maybe outsource to really up-level her client care?
I was thinking outsourcing for social media because I know a lot of them are really busy in the treatments. So whether you come up with a strategic plan to film things and then getting someone to film and edit, because that is was really time consuming. So kind of just getting that content to post.
And where do you think they could go for stuff like that? Because I think social media management, the holistic social media management, is quite expensive, and there's a bit of a barrier to entry there for our nurses. But I think a good tip is outsourcing someone to come in. Where would you recommend they go?
There's lots of agencies, like you said, but they are pricey. A tip from me would be to get a little sister, a little cousin, someone that you know that's younger. They're pretty good with social media and they're quick with editing, and they're probably a fraction of the price.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, phone a friend, get another nurse, even do a service swap is a really good idea. Is there anything else business-wise? I think both of you have been really good at like crossing your I's and dotting your T's, or whatever the saying is, in terms of legalities, outsourcing with finance. Tell me a little bit about that.
We speak to a lot of lawyers. We're signed up to a lot of organizations. We get all the updates. We get the emails from Fresh. Basically, we just like to cast a wide net, and we're also talking to people. We're in a lot of like Facebook groups, that sort of stuff, just making sure that we're staying across everything. And yeah, like you said, dotting our I's, crossing our T's. It's important. Don't bury your head in the sand. It can cause a lot of issues. For us, really early on, we actually weren't even aware that when we launched that you couldn't have pricing for injectables on your website. And a lot of people, everyone did, so we didn't know. But we actually got called out right away when our website launched, and this was in 2020. So from that moment, we were like, okay, we need to be across all this ourselves. We can't just look at what the industry is doing. And I think that's really important. Don't just look at the industry and what everyone's following, because they could be incorrect. And then are they going to, foot the cost if it's your business that gets in trouble?
That's really good advice, and I think so sound, especially from that outside of the clinical perspective. It is important. It is important to know your legality. So let's talk a little bit about the APRA and TGA. I know it was a big shock for the industry. You mentioned in your talk, though, that not all of those regulations were new. So you were obviously really across it. What sort of led you down that path, and how did you stay across it?
Yeah, like Amy said, we've always been really up to date with all of the regulations. We are signed up to a lot of newsletters, forum groups, managers really across it too. So a lot of the things we were already doing, which is nice to see other people start to make changes. A lot of people still aren't, which is up to them, but things that we were already doing. And I think the biggest one was the before and afters for us, because you do see bookings come straight from sharing a before and after, and it is great. But we've really looked at it in a positive light. Well, what can we do? Okay, educate. Let's educate. And that brings us back to the client and the consumer and those fear barriers that they have when booking in to get injectables. Because like Amy mentioned before, a lot of nurses, they don't think of the basics like numbing cream, downtime, bruising, like some of the really basic things where we do think of, and we kind of remind our nurses of those. So even if it's like the smallest thing for education, it really helps with clients.
I think that's a really good point. You mentioned in your speech earlier that it was 7 years of research, was it, before you actually took the plunge and booked an appointment?
I don't know if it was 7 years.
You said 7 years.
Yeah, you said 7 years.
I feel like you said that.
But it was a lot of research before. I think it's because I said I was 27 when I first.
Just book the appointment.
Yeah.
I think that's a really pertinent point, because how long do you think the consumer life cycle is? Like you said, you post a before and after, you get a booking. At the moment, that's not really the way the industry is working. Can you give us some maybe like insight into what your opinion is about the life cycle of a marketing lead?
Well, basically, with our consumers, we really look at having our consumers long term. A lot of our clients have been coming to us from day one, which is, 4 years now. And they're very loyal, and we really treatment plan holistically. So obviously the industry is really moving towards skin as well, and skin integrity. And you're not going to have results that are as good as you want if your skin integrity is bad. So we will have our derms, our naturopath, our lymphatic therapist all work together in giving a treatment plan to our clients and allowing them to get the best long-term results as possible. So our nurses really bounce off our other practitioners
Together.
and that actually it increases your client life cycle tenfold, because your clients are coming in sometimes every month, and you're seeing them and they're seeing everyone
Weekly.
Yeah,
I see
sometimes
some
weekly. And they're seeing the results, but not only seeing the results, they're feeling good too, and they're feeling confident. And we always say it's about how we make you feel. And we say to our staff, make yourself a story, because that relationship with the client is so important. But you want that client, and word of mouth is still the most effective form of marketing today. And you want that client to go out and tell someone about you.
That's all about building trust, right? So how do you guys feel that as a brand, you're building trust with your client?
I think that comes down to when we hire, and like we mentioned just before, our staff and our people are our biggest investment, and we really take our time when hiring. Like, there is a skin girl that we have in mind, and at the beginning, like with our therapists, it was looking at the experience and how long they've been working for, but now we know it's a type of person, that person in that relationship, the kindness. It's a skin girl. So it's really comes down to the team of who we have, and they're all so amazing, and they generally care about their clients. They build these relationships and they care, and that's something you can't really teach someone to care. That you either have it or you don't. So that's what we look for in our interviews.
That's really good.
And I think for us, we always looked at it that we wouldn't have someone working at Skin that we wouldn't trust to treat ourselves. And again, we're our consumer, and we have our mum, our sisters, our family come to our clinic. So we have to trust them wholeheartedly. So we want to impart that onto our consumer.
That's really exciting. Let's talk about skin and your journey. Tell me, what's been going on in the clinic? Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? Anything big and exciting coming for you?
Yeah, so we've added lymphatic to the menu, which I actually wanted to do from day dot, but Amy really wanted to have a refined menu, which was the right decision. But I just feel it goes really well holistically with what we do with the naturopath and skin. We are at the moment adding in 2 new devices. Yeah, we're really excited for that. We're really excited. It just goes really well with the other treatments that we have with skin. And we also have plastic surgeon that consults out of skin now as well. So we're really keeping it holistic, medical, that overall 5-star experience. We would love to expand, but we're really thinking about making all the details perfect and not just expanding and scaling too fast.
Yeah, we're really focusing on the foundation at the moment, doing things slowly, doing them right, having the right people. You know, our second location is only a year and a half open. So really just kind of growing that. We have more capacity within that clinic. So finding the right people, it takes so much time. We're constantly recruiting. If you find the right person, we're open to it. But yeah, we've been interviewing for the last year and slowly building our team.
That's really exciting. You said before that you feel that outsourcing some of your education globally and overseas is really, really important to you. Obviously, both of your locations are based here in Australia. What do you think it is about overseas? Where do you think we're at in comparison to them?
I think we're definitely behind, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Obviously, they have different regulations to us. They can do different things in terms of marketing and treatments and all of that. But it is good to be aware of what's happening in the industry. And a lot of the things that do trend there first trickle down to Australia, and then we see them on the market. We've sent our staff overseas for that reason. We sent one of our dermal therapists to LA this year, a nurse to LA last year, and we just send them over to learn and network and meet the doctors and ask questions, go to conferences, and then bring all that information back to us where we can kind of dissect it as a team and say, like, basically, what are the biggest things? And asking those questions when they're there. What are the biggest treatments? What is everyone doing right now? What are the celebrities getting done? You know, and then we don't jump onto the trends, but we keep an eye out. We start doing our research. Maybe if the team's really interested and they're like, this is the future, we do have a very collaborative environment because we aren't practitioners, so we will take on a lot of their feedback. But if they really believe in something, then we'll start like keeping an eye out for when it hits.
Yeah, Amy said everything I was going to say.
Completely agree. I think that was a really incredible interview. I'm so excited to pull some of that knowledge and share that with our community, because I know that it sometimes is so isolating as a practitioner owned and operated business. If you guys could go back to the very start when you were still in the concept planning phase of skin, what would you tell yourself right now today?
Wow. Don't overspend. No, seriously. I think with any business, there's risk and comes that feeling of, those jitters. And I feel like if you get that, that means you're onto something new and growth. So I really feed into that. And I'm just really happy that I've been on this journey with my sister, someone that when I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling this, that I've been able to go back and forth and have that person to lean on. So I would just say you're going in the right direction, and to be confident with the vision. Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with the budget better. We definitely
Do the
like the
numbers.
finer things.
Yeah.
But in saying that, if I could go back, I would definitely say relationships are everything, and find your people. And that support that you will get from your community will be invaluable later on.
That's amazing. One last question. You are a clinic, let's pretend, that only really does that like one treatment. That's sort of your bread and butter, that's your jam, and you're looking to expand. You have one offering that you choose to expand your business and expand your clinic. Where would you start?
Wow. You have the good questions, girl.
One offering.
Because they all go so hand in hand together. Like
That's
that
the whole
is just
reason
so
why we started
difficult.
SKIN, because we were just like, you need them all together to work
Yeah.
and to get the best results. But one that I am loving right
I'm
now,
excited for this.
I think is sculpture.
Oh, love that. Yes, I haven't had it myself. I'm actually booked in on a training day to get it done. I am really excited for that. But I also, I can't pick. I just can't pick. Like, I just have like my top like 3 or 4 treatments, and they just really, support each other and, enhance each other. So I cannot pick. Sorry.
I think sculpture, because I think it's the way of the future in terms of like it encompasses a lot of where the industry is moving. It's not about those immediate filler results. It's more about building over time, regenerative treatments. We also love PRF, so yeah.
Yeah, I think regenerative is really like where it's headed for sure. Would you agree?
Yeah.
100%. Thank you girls so much for coming. It was my pleasure to interview you. I'm so excited to share this with our community. Any parting words?
Thank you for having us. I'm really excited to be here and to listen to others speak. Network, like we said, that's really important. So I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you for having us.